What's up, you guys? Welcome back to Love and Hip Hop Miami Season 7, Episode 5. And we're just going to hop right on into it. We are back in Scottsdale, Arizona with Rada and Michael Blackson. Now, even though Michael Blackson got another woman pregnant, he's still by Rada's side, because this is a very trying and scary time for her. But, he's there while she's getting induced for her baby. Now, Rada was induced on Monday, but she did not end up having a baby until Tuesday. So, of course, I guess Michael Blackson found time to take a break to go eat breakfast in a little bit. And then next, Rada calls him and he has to rush to the hospital. And he missed the birth because he went to the wrong hospital. But of course, he sees his son, and I would have the same face as the kid. Who is this man? Why is this man holding me? But nonetheless, that is a beautiful baby boy, and congratulations. Now, in the next scene, we get to see Gayu being messy, talking about she finna be an auntie to Michael Blackson's baby. And then she liking pics and all the videos that he's putting on, Instagram. And you know what? She is the perfect side chick because, Gayo don't want to be nothing else. I don't know why. She just won't find her man and leave everyone else's alone. But this is crazy. And we also learned after those folks was being nasty down to the restaurant, they did go back and do some things. She's talking about some she don't want to, kiss and tell. But I did make a mistake. She's not talking about being an auntie. She's talking about being a stepmom. And Gayu, girl, you're not going to get close to that baby. You might as well sit down. Then Gayu also gets a notification that Alan got locked up. And, that's another one of her men that she's messed with that was not hers. But for some reason, we also get to see Ching Diamond's manager, Rocky. Now, Rocky is pulling up to Gayu's restaurant because she's into brand management and she wants Gayu to be a part of it. I don't know why. Gayu is messy. But then we also see that Rocky is talking about Ching Diamond and, her baby's healthy, everybody's happy, and that her man is still running the streets. But, that's what she gonna let him do, so we don't really need to hear about that. Now, of course, Rocky knows the show, and she was just interested in Gayu. I think she's more interested in Gayu's madness, but one thing I can't say, Gayu do got a business. She gonna run it. I just wish Gayu would get up off of this heaven situation. Girl, you are not heaven. You are still very much a demon, and you are not, you have not turned no new leaf. Now, Rocky does invite Gayu to her event to show CEOs, women running their own business, which is a good idea. That could help Gayu, but the women that are also invited, Gayu has slept with almost all of their men. And we can already tell from the women whose men she's messed with, it's not going to turn out well. Now, in this next scene, we are back in Scottsdale, Arizona, where Michael Blackson, his new baby, and Rada are now settling into their new life. And we get to see Rada practicing one of her cultural rituals, which is basically steaming her body right after she has the baby, which promotes good health for her to be able to care for her baby. Now, during this time, we see Michael Blackson. He's being a father, tending to the baby, and Nadia calls. Now, Nadia, you a known side chick, and you know to be his side chick. I don't know why you're calling this man while his new baby just arrived, and you see him on Instagram tending to his baby. I don't know why you're doing the most. So after Rada's steaming, we're seeing her relax with her mom, her sister, and Michael, and we're learning more about Rada's family. Her mom has 10 kids, by her dad. And also we get to learn why Rada allows Michael to do what he does, because her dad had multiple girlfriends and mom still stayed. So now I kind of understand Rada and the way that she thinks, even though I do think that she should separate herself from the outdated ways of her culture, but it's all up to her if she wants to do it or not. But we see Michael Blackson is definitely trying to get on the phone with Nadia, so of course he makes an excuse. He's going to visit somebody and play poker, and he's going to head out to the car. Although he may head somewhere, he's going to be on the phone with Nadia. As he's talking to Nadia on the phone, of course she's upset because she hasn't talked to her baby father in the last couple of weeks. But Nadia, this is what you signed up for. You signed up to be the side chick. I don't know why you expected to be the main. Even Michael Blackson said Rada is his main. He's not leaving her. So now you're on the phone whining, hooting, and hollering, talking about this is BS. Girl, that's what you signed up for. I don't feel bad for you. You wanted this, now you got it. And now, of course, Michael Blackson is stressed out because I don't feel bad for him either. He should just either keep it, he should have kept it clean and kept the condom on, or at least make sure that his sides are on birth control or something. But now you having another baby in like the next month or the next couple of weeks, and now she wants you to fly out to do a maternity shoot, and now you got to fly back and forth. Dude, you could have just stayed with one woman and you don't have all these problems, but you want to dip and dabble. That's on you. And now we're back in Miami. We're at Rocky's event, Elevated Agenda. We get to see Shay and Eliza come in, and they are also on good terms now. So seeing them hug, that was really nice. And, to be able to attend something, meant for women being, I guess, bosses, as Rocky would put it, or, just elevating each other and making connections. That's good. So after we see Eliza and Shay talk for a little bit, we see Rocky come up to the two and, introduce herself and, just basically talk about what's going on with Ching and making sure that, Ching is doing well with the baby. And then also we see them wrap up the conversation as Rocky wants to get everyone together. And of course, the other ladies that is a part of the show is going to sit outside in another section. Then we also see Amada pull up. And as Amada arrives, we see her meet up with Eliza and Shay. And of course, Eliza's going to bring up her baby daddy and the issue. She wanted to check on Amada. Now, apparently, Amada is saying that she had nothing to do with Alan getting arrested. She was already on her way to Puerto Rico to close on one of her newest properties, which should turn out to be an Airbnb. Now, Amada does say that she knows why Alan went to jail, but you know what? It's not public, so she's not going to speak on it. But she puts that conversation to the side because she wants to talk about Sonia and how she messed up, not just she, but, others messed up Sonia's performance. But Amada, you got your behind up on that child's stage while she was performing and took the mic from her. So I think you did the work. But as she goes on with the conversation, she lets them know that she reached out to Sonia. She went up to Sonia's recording and, proposed that they do a song together and to possibly apologize. But, I'm not with Shay because she doesn't have to accept nothing. Like, you messed up my performance, not the other way around. And a song and an apology ain't gonna really cut it for me. Because now I'm looking at you sideways because is this how you conduct businesses? And this is how you support other women and other people on certain platforms. But during this conversation, we also get to see Samantha walk in. And as Samantha walks in and sits down with the other young ladies, Shay, Amada, and Eliza all thank her for that meeting or that, that one-on-one that they had because, they would not be friends now if it wasn't for Samantha helping them out. And child, after everybody gets acquainted or reacquainted, we see Gayu, or AKA Heaven, walk in. Yes, and everyone but Rocky and Samantha all side-eyeing because they all have a little bit of rough history with Gayu. Now, as Gayu sits down, we see that Rocky, starts her spiel. She's, gathered everybody there because she thinks they're all bosses, then they can all connect and, vibe off on each other and just rise up in levels of success. Rocky then goes around the table, or she doesn't get to go around the full table, but she approaches or asks of Samantha, what does she has going on? And of course, Samantha, talks about her ministry and her faith and what she's doing with that business. And we see Gayu jump in and try to, do her whole, healing thing when we all know, Gayu, girl, you ain't healed nothing yet. You just trying to rebrand of what you did. And Shay, Eliza, or Amada, they're not falling for it. So Eliza just changes the subject. And of course, is once again back around to Samantha, and Samantha is letting them know how she has tried to reach out to Joy, how she's tried to talk to Joy, and it has been unsuccessful. Now, whether or not you mess with him first, Samantha, I still kind of am on Joy's side. You were at their wedding, so after that you should just cut contact. It should be no more intermingling between you and him. That was wrong of you. Now, whether you want her to take accountability for her messing with him, then fine, that's it. But at the same time, you're not innocent as well. And I'm with Shay on that one because the version of Joy that she has seen is sweet and smart and funny, and everybody loves her. And Shay did make a good point. I would love to hear Joy's side if Joy can calm down enough and not want to just throw things at you. Now, Gayu hops in the conversation again and lets Samantha know, you know what, I had that same issue with my sister, but Gayu, your sister was already married and you were smashing her husband, and you were just smashing everything and everybody, and I just think that you just did not like your sister's success, so you had to take something from her. Now, Shay lets it all out because at this point she is tired of Gayu. Shay is saying that Gayu smashed her sister's man. She smashed Shay's baby daddy and also smashed Amara's baby daddy. And Gayu, once again, none of them are falling for this heaven BS that you keep trying to promote. But Shay and Eliza start shouting at Gayu, calling her a bunch of whores and you going to hell and all this other stuff. And that leaves Samantha to be uncomfortable. But I do think it hit a nerve with Samantha because Shay was right. If you would smash your relative's man, what kind of person are you? How can I even trust you? You messed up family right there. But we see Samantha dip out and Rocky tries to reel the event back together because right now it is spiraling. And one thing I can give Gayu, she gonna sit in her mess and she gonna own up to it. And she apologized to both of the ladies for sleeping with their baby daddy, however she feels or however they feel, because neither one of them forgave her. They're over it. And Gayu is still, on this, I'm new, I'm different, and she's messing with a rich man. And too bad that rich man is someone else's man. Now, after that crazy event, we see Tip Miami heading into the studio to see Sonya. And Tip basically says, she's still been talking with Gina Allen's wife for the past week and getting some information that Amada might be involved in Allen getting arrested and other things like that. So while they're in the club, Tip meets up with Sonya and Hot Topic, and basically she hears out Tip's side of the story of what escalated while she was performing at the club. And after Tip gives out her side of the story, she also fills in the ladies on what she has been hearing from Alan's wife and all of the information that Alan's wife has been giving her. Now, I can commend Tip on the messiness, but Tip, girl, get out this child business. Now, if that's your friend, if she's saying leave it alone, or I didn't ask you to hop in it, then hop out of it. Like, you're doing absolutely too much. I don't hear enough of what's going on about you, but we all hear what's going on in Amada's life because of you. Like, you need to find some business and sit down. At this point, you just running around telling all your friend business, because if it was really about your friend, then you would get all the information and talk to your friend, not talk to everybody else and tell everybody else what Amada may or may have not been doing. Like, that's between you and Amada, not between you, everybody else who will listen, and then Amada. After all the tea is spilled, the three ladies decide that they're all going to meet up, and then Sonya is just going to invite Amada and not tell Amada that Hot Topic or Miami Tip is going to be there. So we're back in Scottsdale, Arizona. Rada is introducing her new baby to her best friend, Claudia. And Michael Blackson, he's there because he's seeing his son too. And as Rada goes off to feed her newborn baby, we see Claudia and Michael have a conversation. Of course, Michael is a little upset because why did you bring that information to my pregnant wife? Well, why did you put her in a situation in the first place, Mike? Like Claudia said, that's my friend. And if I'm going to get some information, no matter how detrimental it's going to be, I'm going to tell my best friend, because I'm not going to hold on to something I'm not going to hold on to something and not tell her. That's just not what it's going to be. And another thing, Michael, you got a whole hall pass, a free pass to do whatever you want with other women. Just don't connect with them. Don't have no baby. You had that life and then you messed it up, and now you have another baby due in the next few weeks or the next month. But still, Michael thinks Claudia is wrong, and I don't, but I agree with Claudia. She doesn't like to have this conversation with you, and she's going to change the subject. Now, while talking to Claudia about what's been going on in his life and then mentioning that he has to fly back to LA, we see Rada come back downstairs. And it just so happens that Rada overheard him talking about flying back to LA and assumes that he's going back to see Nadine. And of course he's going to see Nadine, that she's carrying his other child. Now Rada is throwing out an ultimatum that he cannot see her or the baby. He needs to, kind of dead them in the situation. Don't go see them. And, Rada, you have to be realistic. You can't ask him to do that. He wanted that kid. So at the same time, was he wrong? Yes, but you cannot tell that man that he can't see his other kid because you don't like how the kid was conceived. Don't get me wrong, I can understand Rada and her feelings, but at the same time, that's not plausible. That's not going to happen. And you have to understand, Rada, you gave him this pass. You gave him, he can mess with other chicks because he can't keep it to himself. He can't keep it to just one woman. And those demands should have been set before you let him think that he was going to go move any further. So now he thinks he can move the way he wants to move because you've been letting him do it this entire time. So now we're back in Miami. We're seeing Sonya, practice for her new show that she has coming up. We see that Hot Topic is already there, and Miami Tip arrives just a little bit later. Now, as the ladies come together, they sit down, they discuss Sonya's upcoming show, how Hot Topic thinks Miami Tip and Sonya should do a song together, and the ladies also discuss Amada showing up to the session as well. Now, as they're talking about this, we see Amada show up, and of course we know Amada was not informed of Miami Tip or Hot Topic being there. She thinking she's just walking into a session with Sonya. With this meetup, we see that Sonya just wants to get to know Amada just a little bit better, and if she's not on the type of BS that Miami Tip is saying, and as well Miami Tip is requesting some type of explanation as to what she's been doing with Alan. Now, I can understand Sonya's part, but Miami, girl, bye. Don't nobody got to explain nothing to you. Amada don't have to say nothing to you, even though she did, which I thought that was stupid of her, but Don't nobody got to tell you nothing, Miami. Sit down somewhere. Go get you some real business. As Amada sits down, we see Miami Tip is asking her, what's our real beef? And we see Amada's like, look, you hopped into something that had nothing to do with you. You on social media saying a lot of different things, and now you're running around trying to find out all these things about me when you could have just went to the source. And even if she did do all that, Miami, that still does not give you the right to go all up in somebody's life. Mind your business. As these two ladies are having that very heated discussion about Alan and the disrespect, and Miami Tip being the Alan's wife's friend and all this other things, Miami Tip is also throwing out the contract that she may or may not have with Alan and other things. Now, of course, Amada is going to explain this away. She is saying that he wanted this to look like it was just for TV with the wife, and that the contract is fake. He just wanted it to look good in the eyes of the wife, which is still wrong on your part, Amada, because once again, you knew this man was married and you still had 2 children. I don't care what lie this man has told you. If he wasn't fully divorced, then we ain't bumping nothing. We ain't knocking boots. We ain't doing none of that. We gonna pretend like we're this couple and we're gonna let it ride. Now, and here on Amada's side, she points out that Alan and his wife don't even live together and they don't have children. I thought they had daughters together. I thought that's what they said, but I could be wrong. I still give some fault to Amada because you should have done your research, honey. Yeah, he presented a certain story to you, but it's up to you to be, don't get me wrong, he shouldn't be lying and manipulating, but it's still up to you to further research to make sure that you're good on your side. But the ladies continue to argue backwards and forwards. Amada has her side and Miami Tip has the wife's side. At the end of the day, Alan is the common denominator. Now, Amada says she's done with him. She's not in love with him anymore. And I hope that is true because, yes, Amada, like you said, he made both of y'all look stupid. And we don't want you or her to look stupid over anything like that. And now you have Miami Tip saying that because, they both ended up looking stupid is how, that caused Amada to do some type of revenge and get him locked up. And now you have Hot Topic hopping and talking about can you show me your itinerary? Bitch, I ain't gotta show you shit. Who the fuck are you? And then as the argument keeps going, we see Hot Topic throw in her little whatever information that she thinks she has that Shay and Amada was celebrating because both their baby daddies made them look stupid and that. But to Hot Topic, that may not have nothing to do with what Amada has going on with Alan. Like I said, Amada really don't have to explain nothing to anybody. Only thing she probably will have to explain anything to is Sonya and how she can look better in her image and help Sonya rise above in the industry. But Hot Topic and Miami Tip, girl, y'all ain't got nothing to talk about. I don't have to say nothing to you. I don't have to explain nothing to you. This is my life, and if you don't like it, then stay out of it, which is what she wanted y'all to do from the beginning. I don't agree with Amada's decisions. I don't agree with what she was doing with Alan and all of that stuff. But like she said, it wasn't your problem to solve for her. And after that whole argument, Miami's Tip is like, well, you know what? Gina, Alan's wife, wants to meet up with you. Why did you get her husband arrested? And I'm with Amada and Sonya. Why would I give this bitch any type of light? That's her man. Let her man deal with it. Especially if I didn't have nothing to do with it. I'm not about to meet up with her. I didn't get your man arrested. So meet up with you for what? And with this scene ending, the show ends. And you know what to do. Like, comment, share, subscribe. I'll see you in the next video. Bye.